this saxophone was made there, and that saxophone was made there, and that saxophone was made there, his saxophones were made there, his saxophone was 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 made there. Hi, welcome to today's vlog. I am super excited about some music I'm going to tell you in just 10 seconds. We're going to do the Q&A vlog in a little minute, but what I wanted to do is say to you that last night we've signed up that in 2 weeks today I am going to be in the Selma factory in Paris, well just outside of Paris, where every single Selma saxophone since 1921 has been made. That means this saxophone was made there and I'm going to take it home. And of course this saxophone was made there, and that saxophone was made there, and that saxophone was made there, his saxophones were made there, his saxophone was 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 made there. That's Michael Brecker, a bit of a print if you can't see. Almost 99% of the saxophone recordings that you love and I love were made on saxophones that were made in this factory that I'm going to go and visit in 2 weeks. Really kindly, Selma are going to offer to do an interview with us as well. So what I'm offering you guys to do, first of all, hit that subscribe button if you don't already, because otherwise you're going to miss the video when it comes out. But secondly, send me your questions that you would like me to ask Selma. I'm going to select the best ones and I'm going to use them as part of a very special Q&A vlog. Maybe even should be a coffee with Dan vlog. I'm also going to be at SIOS on the Friday, and a lot of you are asking me about information about SIOS mouthpieces. All that will become clear 2 weeks on Friday in the videos I'm going to shoot with SIOS. And I'm also going to be in Normandy shooting these videos about my grandpa. It's going to be an incredibly busy few days. I'm really looking forward to it. But if you've got those questions for Selma and the questions for SIOS that you'd like me to ask, please do stick them in the comment box below. So with that in mind, it's been a while since I've done a Q&A vlog for you lot, so let's roll that Q&A intro. Have you noticed the new intro? Do you like the Mario theme, or do you think I should go back to the original one using my Sparrowhawk track, which is the one you've heard way before? Maybe after 500 I'll redo the intro again. I'd like to make it shorter, but I also like to give you a good idea of what's going on and show you the highlights of what's been happening with the vlog. Anyway, on to the Q&A. Frank Andrews asked me a fantastic question, Frank. Do you ever take a backup instrument with you, or do you have complete confidence in your instruments? I've never really bothered to take backup horns with me. Occasionally, when I've done some tours, I had two tenors, so I just took two tenors with me, but there's also double the risk of them getting two saxophones damaged, or one lost, or kind of all those kind of things. My other thing is the sound I get from my Mark VI is very specific to that instrument. I picked that Mark VI out of a room of 25 other Mark VI saxophones, tenor saxophones, and I had a balanced action before that. I wish I kept the balanced action, by the way. There's a whole different story. I talk about some of it in this vlog. But that Mark VI gives me the sound I want, so I always want to have that sound available to me. If I've got a backup horn, I'm not necessarily going to get that kind of sound that I want. But then remember, I do predominantly play jazz, and the sound is very specific about how it's put together. With pop, when I've done the pop tours, yes, I used to, it doesn't really matter. And kind of one of the great things of having a good relationship with manufacturers such as Yanagisawa is that should the worst ever happen, I can always phone Yanagisawa up and arrange for another saxophone to be shipped to a location. Obviously it's got to be paid for and things like that, but they're very keen, especially with the sopranos, that takes care. But I'm not doing those kind of mega stadium tours or anything else like that some of my colleagues do. So yes, I need to maintain that saxophone, but for me, the sound I get out of the instrument is far more important than kind of necessarily having a backup. If I had a backup, it wouldn't sound the same. That said, when the Mark VI fell over, I was very, very fortunate that one of my students lent me their Mark VI, which is, I think, is about two or three years younger than actually in this vlog, in the 1958, 1955 Mark VI. And that was was close to my horn, but it wasn't quite the same. And that's the beauty of these Mark VIs. They're all very, very, very different. You play modern horns and they're quite close. I've got to say, out of the modern horns, that Yamaha 82, that was very, very close to the Mark VI. But the kind of short answer to your question, Frank, is no. I always make sure that my Mark VI is well maintained. One thing I do, though, is on the rider for any of the contracts we sign, there's a little thing that says, please make sure that you have the number of a local instrument repair technician available and, you know, kind of checked out before we get there. So if I arrive at the gig and something has gone wrong, as long as it's during sort of daylight hours, we've got a technician to phone. Lots of comments about Mike Brecker. I'm really pleased you love those playlists. This is, for me, the good thing about the streaming services is this opportunity to share and to listen to lots and lots and lots of different bits of music. So make the most of it. Go and check those out. Anakin Day, which I presume is a pseudonym, asked me, why were you improvising over that song rather than the backing track at 411? I recognise the song. It was over moaning. And what I said there was that it's far better, I feel, to be improvising over the real Art Blakey recording rather than an Abersol backing track, or worse, an iReal B backing track. A, because it's real instruments. B, it's real musicians. Obviously, the Abersol's got real musicians on them. But C, I'm listening to the other instruments as well. It's like I'm part of the band. It's like I'm jamming along with the band. And if you haven't read it already, check out Victor Wotton's music lesson book. I used to do a lot of this sort of stuff in my teens. And in my 20s, I was kind of like, when I was at college, I was kind of pushing myself, oh, I shouldn't have done that, wasted time, I should have been working on specific lines, I should have been specifically transcribing. Hell no, there's a hell of a lot to be said for just jamming with musicians who are better than you. What Victor Wotton says in the book is, consider when children are learning to talk. Children jam with adults. Children are hearing adults talking and trying to join in the conversation. And that's what we need to do with better musicians. And the beauty of recording music is you've got all the best musicians available to you, especially when it comes to jazz and the saxophone. Greg Sco says, nice video, especially the excerpts from the concert with the students. One of your students, the young man who I did the duet with, is sounds like a very good player. I hope they continue with the sax. So do I. That's Simon. You may have seen him on a few. There's a nice little link on the Cambridge Saxophone page. Simon's off to the Royal Scottish Conservatoire with Tommy Smith in the summer. I'm really looking forward to how he's going to develop, and I think the rest of you are going to hear Simon hopefully in a few years' time as well. But one of the things that Simon does that all my good students always do is I'm always amazed, well, maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm always pleased is a better word maybe, at how good they are at the basics, at long tones, intervals, overtones, scales particularly. They know their scales. Simon's scales are incredible. I can just go C sharp melodic minor and he's just there and he can just play it. It's just, sometimes I'm in awe of how well he knows his scales. I'm thinking, gosh, I'm not quite in practice with that scale myself. So, yes, these people have talent, but one of the things that the talent allows them to do is that they drill down on the basics. And never, ever, ever have I met someone who's really, really good who hasn't drilled down on the basics. That's what makes the difference. People might think there's some goodness going on, but it's the real people who really make that difference in sound have all the basics. I mean, check out those links we've said about the Brecker practice books. Speaking of practice, I better get mine done. The weather is absolutely disgraceful outside for June, as I've mentioned before. Just reviewing some video footage that Trevor took of the gig we did last Thursday at the Cambridge Modern Jazz Club, but there's also some pictures on my website, some fantastic stuff that Trevor took. But I'm really, really impressed because this is just taken on a GoPro camera on top of on one of the speakers. So I'll link to it. But I'm getting camera gas again, gear acquisition syndrome. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today's vlog. Make sure you check out my previous vlog here. This is what I was up to at this time last year. And remember, if you want to be one of the first people to see that Selma video when I do it, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button, which is kind of down here somewhere, and you can be one of the first people to do it. And don't forget, send me your questions. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.